Hi everyone, Mr. Peabody here. I'm going to talk to you about the debate that they had between the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. Because our federal election is coming up on the 3rd of May. Now, as far as debates go, it was very timid. It was a very timid debate. But and they're very cordial, and sorry, they're very cordial, and I think one of the reasons is I don't know the whole story, but I'm guessing that Peter Dutton lost his father, as in his father died. That's just the drift I get. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. So it was a very cordial sort of debate, but it was very biased. It was biased, and it's noticeable. Now, these guys, the guys we've got to choose from are Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton. Now, Peter Dutton, I've said for a long time, looks like a cancer sufferer. But he is a strong individual. Anthony Albanese is a whiny child. And every time I hear his voice, I cringe. Because it's like nails on a chalkboard. But what they're both saying is like Anthony Albanese is saying, in this term we're going to do this. Well, in this term you already had a term. Why didn't you do it then? Or at least initiate it. Look at it this way, right? You're coming into an election. Well, sorry, you're going through your term, and you're doing your best for the country. Why wouldn't you do everything you possibly could before the next election? Because when the next election comes around, they'll say, oh, you did this, and this, and you're doing a good job. We're going to re-elect you. No. They have to dangle the carrot out. Here's a carrot. Every election, they got to dangle the carrot. And so the next term, Anthony Albanese says, here's your carrot. Here's your carrot, we're going to do this. I say to you, Peter Dutton is more level-headed, and he stays true. He does. But in this debate, they kept on cutting him off. Yep. Every time he was making a good point, the moderator, or whatever it is, said, let's hear from the Prime Minister. And the number of times I heard that statement during this debate was ridiculous. Let's hear from the Prime Minister. Let's hear from the Prime Minister. And I'm surprised they didn't do it in the middle of the Prime Minister talking. In the middle of the Prime Minister talking, let's hear from the Prime Minister. No, let him make his point. Because he was coming up with valid things. He was actually contradicting the Prime Minister. And the fact is, I would contradict the Prime Minister as well. Because this is the Prime Minister we had during COVID. This is the Prime Minister that made me get jabbed twice just to go to the grocery store. Yep, so ridiculous things, and they were taking their lead from America and other countries. Wear the mask, safe distance in public, and get the COVID jab. The COVID jab, yeah. The COVID vaccine. That was never a vaccine. There was a problem with that vaccine from the start. There was a problem with COVID from the start, and they didn't even realise that they actually showed the genome for COVID right at the beginning, and the genome shows you that it didn't come from some natural cause. It came from genetically engineered shit. It came from a lab. So anyway, going on. Anthony Albanese wants solar panels and wind generators and batteries. Okay, I'll talk about the batteries in a second. Whereas Peter Dutton is talking about going nuclear, which is a good move. It's a necessary move because the wind generators and the solar panels are not going to cut it. So this is not going to cut it. This, at least, is looking to the future for sustainable energy. Let me tell you, so this guy wants to give you a rebate to buy batteries so you can charge your batteries with solar energy during the day and then you use it in peak times. Let me tell you about lithium ion batteries. And I'm going to use an example as in your phone. Your phone, if you've got a newer phone, well actually any phone at the moment has a lithium ion battery in it. And that lithium ion battery has 1,000 charges, roughly. They vary, but roughly 1,000 charges. So if you use your phone and your battery level goes down, then that's you using the lithium ion battery, right? Don't charge your phone until it gets to like 30 or 20%, right? I mean, don't let it drop really low. But what everybody does is every night they charge their battery, right? Whether they used 10%, 25%, 50% of their battery, they charge their battery. And the battery in your phone only has 1,000 cycles, roughly. I mean, as I said, it depends, but it only has 1,000 charges. And if you're charging your battery when it's only partially depleted, then you're using another cycle. I know you're thinking you're just topping up, but that's counted as another cycle. So if you're only using 25% of your battery and you're recharging it, you're using another cycle, so your battery is not going to last as long as you would hope for. Now, I charge my phone probably about every 4 days, 4 or 5 days. Why? Because one, I'm not using it all the time, and two, because it tells me at the moment I've got 75% on my battery, and I don't charge my phone until it drops to about 30 or 20%. And this is a cheap phone made in India. So it's not an Apple iPhone, it's not a Samsung or anything like that. It's just a cheap phone. But I haven't any problems with my battery. I have had in the past problems with my Samsungs and my other phones where the battery will swell. If your battery swells, your lithium ion battery swells, stop using it. So in other words, if your phone starts to bulge where it didn't bulge before, stop using that battery. So if you can change the battery, change the battery. But most phones these days, it's an inbuilt battery, so you can't actually swap it out, especially with Apple iPhones. Um, but yeah, you got 1,000 charges, and that's it. Now, Anthony Albanese wants solar panels and batteries, and those are lithium-ion batteries. So they've got, I would say they've got a whole lot more than 1,000 charges on them, but once again, they've got a limited amount of charges, and they're actually, when you actually hook up one of these batteries to your house with solar panels, the the house doesn't know what level the battery's at. It just says charge. So every time your solar panels come online, it's like charge, charge, charge. So you're going to run out eventually. Now, lithium-ion batteries and solar panels are not recyclable. They are not. But so they're going in the dirt. I don't know where in the dirt they're going, but they're going in the dirt. The thing with nuclear is, these days, nuclear is recyclable. So in other words, they can take the spent nuclear cells out of a nuclear power station and recharge them. Actually, let them sit and recharge them, and then put them back in. Not not straight away. I mean, it takes a few years, but it's like each cell in a nuclear power station lasts for I don't know how many years, but lasts for a number of years, and then they have to take it out and replace it. But they are recyclable, so no more of this, nuclear waste getting dumped in the middle of nowhere, and that area being declared a nuclear waste dump. We don't have that anymore. Also, thing with the coal powered power stations, the coal fueled power stations. Australia coal fueled power stations have so many filters on them that by the time they're blowing stuff out of the smoke stacks, there's very little in it apart from steam. So, but China, they don't care. They'll pump everything out. Anyway, as I said, but when it comes to these two, I'm going for this guy. Why? Because this guy, if you leave him in power, is going to do some mess. This guy, at least, is going to have a look at the problem. At least he's going to look at it. This guy doesn't look at any problems. He's a bargy-pargy Paul. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. See ya.